Hey, Ryan here, Triathlon.com, and we are going to hit IRONMAN Des Moines for 2022. We're going to talk about it again, and this time we're going to be talking about where should your spectators hang out to see the most of you doing your race and kind of get into the most experience possible for IRONMAN Des Moines. Specifically 2022, we're going to talk about that course, but kind of goes in general. They might tweak the course here and there, but overall it should be applicable for whenever they do the full in Des Moines. So we're talking about the bike, the swim, and the run. So we're going to talk about where they should hide out for the swim, bike, and the run. So if you hit the website and you find the wonderful course maps, and also I'll kind of flip back and forth between this and the event schedule because they have a nice little map of where everything's at on like a Google Maps. So the swim is going to be in Grays Lake. It's going to be 2 loops. So as you can see here, there's kind of a pedestrian bridge over here. So when I did the 70.3 in 2021, there's a lot of spectators kind of lined up on a pedestrian bridge. You just have to be careful because the start and the finish is over here on this little swim beach here. Let's pull up the map from the event schedule. So when you're doing the swim over here and your spectators, if they're hanging out on this bridge over here, if they want to see you actually come out, the athletes are going to come out here, and there's this little bridge. The roadway goes over this little tunnel where the athletes run through and run over to Waterworks Park to do the transition. So if your spectators want to see you start and see you finish, I would highly recommend that they're hanging out over here in the beach area. Athletes will cross over this little land section here. I don't know if they're going to allow people to be over there. Who knows? I would not hang out over here because it's kind of a little forested kind of area and not really a spectator friendly. There's no place to really sit probably or anything like that. It's just like trees, dirt, sand, fun stuff like that. So definitely if they want to see you start, hang out here. If they want to see you finish, hang out in the same spot. And then they can be on this little pathway. That's where everybody kind of lined up, as we're running through. People aren't speeding through because it is a paved trail. They do clean it off so you don't step any rocks or anything like that. But you're not like speeding through as an athlete unless you're trying to be first like a pro. But it's good spread out area. People can kind of spread out. It's a long run for the athletes, but for the spectators, there's plenty of room to find a little spot and be able to see your athlete go by when they get over the transition. So that's definitely what I would recommend. I mean, there's like a little beach area over here that you can hang out and watch, and you might catch some of it, but I think mostly if you want to see your athlete come in and out of the water, probably hanging out at this little beach area for the swim start would be the best. Just realize that when they are running through, if there's a bunch of athletes running through, they're not going to let you cross this little path. So if you want to get across or something like that, you want to do it sooner or later so you're not caught over there when your athlete runs by and you totally miss them or something like that. So that's what I'd recommend as far as swim goes. So moving on to the bike course. So for a full Ironman, I think there's a little bit of opportunity for people to maybe hop in a car and go out and see their athletes out on the course. If it was a 70.3, usually I wouldn't say, most athletes 3 to 4 hours and they're done with the bike ride. It's just tough to get to your car, over to where they're at, and to get set up, see them on the course, and then get back over to see maybe a transition. Now, if you want to forego transition into 70.3 and just see them at the finish line, maybe that's an opportunity. But for a full, this is a 1-loop course, and people are going to be out there for extended periods of time. So I would definitely, if you're going to try to catch them, notice the transition area. Go back to this little map over here. We are going to bike out on this little back road here through a little park area. So if you are most of us are going to have park over here. So you could probably go over here to the parking area, and then you're going to have to go around probably this little section. So if you're going to have to map out your drive, you can either go around downtown and then go back over here and catch anywhere, or you can go south of downtown. Make sure you don't catch this little U-turn because you're never going to get across because it's going to be full of people, especially as people start getting out of the water. It's just going to be really congested. It's going to take a lot of time to get past. So make sure you drive out way past that. So you can go over here and try to catch your athletes in one of the turns. Probably the turns are the better spots because they'll actually slow down. You have a chance to see them or something like that. So I would definitely kind of plan if you're going to catch them on this first little section here. That way you have plenty of time to drive back, find your parking spot, and then go back and maybe walk over to transition and see him come off the bike. So that would be kind of my recommendation as far as being a spectator during the bike is when you see them hit the bike and they're going through and going to this little park area, jam it to the car, go over here and try to catch them on the south half of the loop, see them here, and then come back, park, and then maybe you'll have enough time, it depends on how long your athlete's going to take, 5-6 hours or something like that to do the bike ride. Should be plenty of time to get to the car over here. It's probably a 1.5 mile walk. Get to your car, get out, find where they're going, come back, find a parking space, and then come back out and hang out in transition to find them. So that's kind of what I would recommend for the bike course if you want to go out there and catch your athlete. If not, there's plenty of stuff downtown. There's plenty of action going on. I think there's going to be plenty of things to do. You're really not going to be too bored or anything like that. The Grays Lake, there's a park there. There's playgrounds for kids and stuff like that. So there's plenty to do to entertain people and yourself. If you don't want to go out there and kind of use that time to go out and try to find your athlete on the course. Because I've had that happen in the past where my spectators have gone out and tried to catch me on the bike course. And they totally got stuck in traffic and it just kind of took forever and just was kind of a hassle more than anything. So you just kind of weigh your options, see which one's the best for you. So with that, we're going to jump into the run. So this one is going to be spectator super friendly because it is 3 laps. Now, you have to time it right. So, whenever they come in the transition, they start the run over here at Waterworks Park again, and then they hit the trails. So you could go, they're going to be on the spectator, they're going to be on the pedestrian bridge, they're going to be out here running on the trails. There's plenty of places. This little road they cut off from major traffic around Grays Lake. So, they're going to head out here and they're going to be running and running and running. So you could probably catch them on 1 or 2 loops, hang out in the park area, nice little area. There's going to be porta potties, all that kind of good stuff. And then make your way over to the finish line. So there is like a little trail system that you could take and walk into downtown and get over to the finish line. So probably about 2.5 miles. So if you've got little kids or something like that, keep that in mind. But there's not going to be much of an opportunity to, sorry about that, lost my train of thought. But there's not going to be much opportunity that I don't think you're going to be able to go back to your car, and there's going to be shuttles to get athletes from the finish line to the transition area, but there's not going to be shuttles to get from transition to the finish line. So you're just going to have to be kind of smart with your timing on, you could probably catch your athletes a few times, especially if you want to catch them out of the transition when they do that first loop. You start walking this way and you catch them on the second loop. Keep your Ironman tracker on so you know where they're at kind of any point in time. And then when they run back, you're going to catch them in as long as you're walking along the run course. And then you can hang out in the finish line around the U-turn area. So that's where you're going to see them 2 different times. Well, 3 different times. The first 2 turnarounds, and then the last time is going to be when they run towards the finish line. So definitely, I think this U-turn is going to be the hot happening spot. It was for the 70.3 because we did have to go by it once. But for the full, you're going by it twice as an athlete, and then you're coming to the finish line. So there's tons of spectator-friendly area in here, especially depending on how long your athlete's going to take for the run course. I mean, you can kind of take your time here. Like I said, once they hit out of transition, they start that first loop, they head south, and they're doing this little outback thing. You're going to have plenty of time to kind of stroll over here and then catch the main road. So as they're running through, you can catch them again. And they're running, you're walking, just taking your time, saying hi, yelling at other athletes, good job. See them again when they come by. And then they're doing this loop over here, and you're just kind of jaunting by, and you're saying hi to athletes and high-fiving family members, all that kind of fun stuff. And then you hit the U-turn, see them again. They come back from the U-turn, see them again. And then you go over to the finish line, hang out, and you see them at the finish line. So that's what I'd recommend, definitely. Like I said, it's probably going to be a 2.5 mile walk if you walk the actual race course. There's actually a little, like I said, you see this little trail system. So if you want to see your athletes in here and you just want to go straight to the finish line, not have to mess with the race course or anything like that, you can kind of sneak in the back way, this little trail system back to downtown. So keep that in mind. Once they get to the finish line, there's going to be a shuttle to get them back to transition. So if you're a spectator, shuttle back to transition. Now, they don't say specifically it's just for athletes. More than likely, they'll allow spectators, but that's probably a question to ask at the athlete briefing. It's if you're going to go with the finish line, but you're parked back at the parking area, you're going to have to hike your stuff back. But it's kind of nice if spectators can go and Sherpas can go with the athlete back to transition and helping them their stuff, and then you get back to the parking area. Now, if you're staying downtown, then your spectators and your Sherpas or whatever, spectators can stay there and do whatever they want, and then the athlete or whoever has to come back to transition, get their stuff, and then go back to downtown with their stuff. So kind of a different proposition for that kind of regard. But just keep that in mind. I think this is a very spectator-friendly course. As far as the run goes, like I said, it's 3 loops. This is how I would suggest my spectators or Sherpas would do it. Is I come out of transition, you say, yay, good job, and they're out here running and kind of suffering, and you're just kind of strolling along this little path. You'll see other athletes coming along. You're like, hey, good job. You're just kind of walking along, having a good time along the road here. All the athletes are suffering. See your athlete again as they run by and give them encouragement, and you're just kind of strolling along, and you see them again when they come from the U-turn. Kind of hang out here on the corner. You see them coming again, hit the U-turn, come again, so you can see them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times at the finish line. So 5 times on that run course. And I think it's pretty cool that you can walk along the run course and make it to the finish line, because there's going to be a lot of actions, athletes, there's aid stations, there's tons of stuff going on. It's going to be nonstop entertainment as far as people, trying their best, people suffering. That's kind of one thing that you're watching the train wrecks happen as people try to do the best they can out there and they're kind of reaching for everything they got. But just keep in mind, once you get to the finish line, you got to walk over to Cal's Commons, and then there's a shuttle system take you back to transition. And then I don't think they'll be running this. They may be running the shuttles. Look at the event schedule just while we're talking about it. Bike gear checkout and closed bag. So they've got shuttles in the morning from Bell Avenue into parking, but it doesn't look like they will have any shuttles going back to parking at the end of the day. So if you're hanging out transition, you're going to have to hike it back to, and it's down here, down south, to get to the actual parking lot area. So hopefully, I kind of talked there a little bit, we ran through 12, 13 minutes of information, had some distractions of knocking at the door and stuff like that, so I'll have that in 3 off. But this is kind of why I recommend, just to recap, for the swim, I definitely recommend your spectators hang out here at the start and the finish area. Definitely an opportunity to have them hang out along the trail system when you come out of the water, to give you a high five or whatever as they go into transition. They go out and ride. Possibly an opportunity, if you're daring and willing enough, to run over to where you parked, get in your bike, run it over, find a spot, hang out, see them ride their bike by, and then run back over. I think there would be an opportunity for that, especially you can get around the course and you're not trapped in the course, so there should be plenty of opportunities to get over there and come back, get parked, see them come out of transition and start the run. So you can kind of see them come out of transition. Even if you're walking this way along the path, you see them, and you're making your way over the finish line. You can see them again when they pass you. They hit the turnaround, see them again. And they're going to come back for another U-turn. You're going to see them once coming back, or once going to the U-turn, once coming back from the U-turn, and then go to the finish line, see them at the finish line. I think this is going to be super spectator friendly. And if you don't want to go along the course, there's the little path that I kind of showed you that you can come around on the backside here from Grace Lake, and you can kind of shortcut your way back to downtown. So with that, if there's any questions, just let me know. Put them in the comments. I always see the notifications. If you see us on Facebook, give it a thumbs up. If you see it on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe. Hit the notifications to get future videos either on Des Moines or another course. If you want other courses, put them in the comments. Or just triathlon tips in general. You can see information on that. So hopefully this helps you out. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up, and we will see you out on race day. And good luck out there. See you at the finish line.